Chapter 12 of Baseball Joe of the Silver Stars by Lester Chadwick. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Donald Cummings. Chapter 12, Discontent. Leg it, Joe, leg it! Keep on, keep on! He can't get you in time. A home run! A homer, old man! Keep it going, keep it going! These and other frantic appeals and bits of advice were hurled at Joe as he dashed madly on. He had a glimpse of the center fielder racing madly after the ball, and then he felt for the first time that he really had a chance to make a home run. Still, he knew that the ball travels fast when once thrown, and it might be relayed in, for he saw the second baseman running back to assist the center fielder. "But I'm going to beat it," panted Joe to himself. The grandstand and bleachers were now a mass of yelling, excited spectators. There was a good attendance at the game, many women and girls being present, and Joe could hear their shrill voices mingling with the hoarser shouts of the men and boys. Keep on, he heard yelled encouragingly at him. "That's the stuff, old man," shouted Darrell, who was coaching at the third base line. "Shall I go in?" cried Joe as he turned the last bag. Darrell took a swift glance toward the field. He saw that Joe could not. The center fielder, instead of relaying in the ball by the second baseman, for the throw was too far for him, had attempted to get it to third alone. Darrell knew it would fall short. Yes, yes, he howled. "Go on in, Joe, go on in." And Joe went. Just as the manager had anticipated, the ball fell short, and the pitcher, who had run down to cover second, had to run out of the diamond to get it. It was an error in judgment, and helped Joe to make his sensational run. He was well on his way home now, but the pitcher had the ball and was throwing it to the catcher. "Slide, Joe, slide!" yelled Darrell above the wild tumult of the other players and the spectators. Joe kept on until he knew a slide would be effective, and then, dropping like a shot, he fairly tore through the dust, feet first, toward home plate. His shoes covered it as the ball came with a thud into the outstretched hands of the catcher. "Safe!" yelled the umpire, and there was no questioning his decision. "Good play!" yelled the crowd. "That's the stuff, old man!" exclaimed Darrell, rushing up and clapping Joe on the back. "A few more like that, and the game will either go 10 innings or we'll have it in the ice box for ourselves," commented Captain Rankin gleefully. But the hopes of the Silver Stars were doomed to disappointment. Try as the succeeding men did to connect with the ball, the best that could be knocked out was a single, and that was not effective, for the man who did it was caught attempting to steal second, and 2 others were struck out. That ended the game, Joe's solitary run being the only one tallied up, and the final score was 3-6 in favor of the Red Stockings. "3 cheers for the Silver Stars!" yelled the captain of the successful 9, and they were given with right good feeling. "3 cheers for the Red Stockings!" responded Darrell. They were too much for us, and the cheers of the losers were none less hearty than those of their rivals. "And 3 cheers for the fellow who made the home run!" added a Red Stocking player, and our hero could not help blushing as he was thus honored. "It was all to the peppercaster, old man," complimented Darrell. "We didn't put up a very good game, but you sort of stand out among the other stars." "And I suppose the rest of us did rotten," snarled Sam Morton as he walked past. "Well, to be frank, I think we all did," spoke Darrell. "I'm not saying that Joe didn't make any errors, for he did, but he made the only home run of the game, and that's a lot." "Oh, yes, I suppose so," sneered the disgruntled pitcher. "You'll be blaming me next for the loss of the game." "Nothing of the sort," exclaimed Darrell quickly. "I think we've all got to bear our share of the defeat. We ought to have played better, and we've got to, if we don't want to be at the tail end of the county league." "And that means that I've got to do better pitching, I suppose," sneered Sam. "It means we've all got to do better work," put in Captain Rankin. "You, along with the rest of us, Sam. You know you were pretty well batted today." "Any fellow is likely to be swatted once in a while. Look at some of the professionals." "I'm not saying they're not," admitted the captain. "What I do say is that we've all got to perk up. We've got to take a brace, and I'm not sparing myself. We're not doing well." "No, that's right," admitted several other players. In fact, there was a general feeling of discontent manifested, and it was very noticeable. Darrell Blackney was aware of it, and he hoped it would not spread, for nothing is so sure to make a team slump as discontent or dissatisfaction. "Oh, Joe!" exclaimed a girl's voice, and he turned to see his sister walking toward him over the field. "That was a fine run you made." She had 2 other girls with her, and Joe, who was a bit bashful, turned to execute a retreat. "I believe you never met my brother," went on Clara, and there was a trace of pride in her tone. "Miss Mabel Davis," said Clara, presenting her to Joe, "and Miss Helen Rutherford." "I've heard my sister speak of you," murmured the young center fielder. "And I've heard my brother speak of you," said Mabel, and Joe was conscious that he was blushing. "I've got to wash up now," he said, not knowing what to talk about when 2 pretty girls, to say nothing of his own sister, were staring at him. "Does your hand hurt you much?" asked Mabel. "No, it's only a scratch," said Joe, not with a strict regard for the truth. "Oh, I thought I'd faint when I saw you lying so still," spoke Clara with a little shudder. "So did I," added Helen, and then Joe made his escape before they could fuss over him any more. There was considerable talk going on in the dressing room when Joe entered. He could hear the voice of Sam Morton, raised in high and seemingly angry tones. "Well, I'm not going to stand for it," the pitcher said. "Stand for what?" asked Darrell in surprise. "Being accused of the cause for the loss of this game." "No one accuses you," put in the captain. "You might as well say it as look it," retorted Sam. "I tell you I won't stand for it. Just because that new fella made a home run, you're all up in the air about him. And for all the hard work I do, what do I get for it? Eh? Nothing, that's what." "Now look here," said Darrell soothingly. "You know you're talking foolishly, Sam." "I am not," cried the pitcher petulantly. "Either Joe Matson leaves the team or I do, and you can have my resignation any time you want it." End of chapter 12. Recording by Donald Cummings, Monroe, Connecticut.